Hello and welcome to another special edition follow-up with our man KG Tier 3.5. He's been upgrading so
3.5.
much.
Yeah. Listen, I feel like you're a young Padawan at the moment, learning from you, watching how you're maneuvering and I'm just kind of get young. It's a young Anakin. Hopefully it doesn't end as bad if anyone follows the story and I don't take out the younglings and that. But yeah, I'm on Padawan training.
Excellent. You've been working on it. I've been watching you like your videos
Yeah.
talking, Soon you'll be soft launching signings that
Soft
nobody
launch and
wants and
sign.
stuff
This
like
is
that. It's gonna
yeah.
happen.
You know what? And I'm so glad that the one signing that definitely didn't happen that I was really scared about was Jackson.
Yeah.
You was always trying to, work your way back to that. We'll talk about that. We're gonna have a Sesko follow-up. We'll
Yes.
have that one later. But
Yes.
yeah, definitely I'm happy about the state of things and I'm glad that that soft launch for that player didn't work. But
Yes.
then we're here because Man United have tried something else, and that was crazy in terms of yesterday and the whole rollout of that doesn't make sense to me.
It was crazy. And of course, we're talking about Carlos Baleba, the signing that I think somehow in a summer where we've got Cunha and Bumo and probably Sesko coming, Carlos Baleba still might be the most exciting and impactful one we could make this summer. Potentially. It is such a crazy one in some ways. Maybe
I
he wouldn't
disagree.
be more impactful, but it
I
feels like
disagree.
you did. That's fine. That's fine. It feels like though this. Maybe it's because it's coming at the end. It feels
Yeah.
like Baleba. Maybe it's because it would be the last one of the four. Would be the one that I said yesterday. We get that done. Why can't United be in the race? Why can't United be in the title
All
charge?
right.
And I'm getting ahead of myself, but I look at that and I just think, but why not? Like you look at the front three, you look at the this, and you're fixing the midfield with probably the best up and coming midfielder in the Premier League. I would say
Yeah.
the best up and coming. Why not? Why not us? But
You,
it did roll out crazy. Let's talk about that first. It
that's the.
rolled
I
out.
think that's the most important. I think that's the. When you talk about people that get involved in this transfer window and how transfers are done, now you've had enough time to watch us in the market. And for simply, Ornstein is just a different level
Yeah.
of anyone that talks about transfers. When Ornstein gets involved, he's not here to waste his time.
Yes.
He's direct. He's in and out, basically, hitman style. And him to come out and just say, "Hey, United have inquired by intermediaries about the price of Baleba," that was alarm bells ringing. The next time we hear from Ornstein is if a deal's been agreed with with said player, where Fabrizio does a over and over again
Yeah.
style, churning it out, still correct, but
Yeah.
his style is just I'm gonna make the most of this moment. But I feel like even he done that one who says don't write off Man United, and that was really interesting. You know that last thing that he said, don't write off Man United,
Yeah.
and he obviously has information that this was this feels like the plan all
Yeah.
along.
Yeah, I think so, and I think obviously when we were out in Chicago, I think it was
Yes,
we were all everybody was starting to get on board with having these conversations, doing this thing, talking to sources, asking
yeah,
questions, little quiet talks in these rooms, and this was a topic. This was serious. Like I think people got to know United were serious about Baleba as a target.
like as serious as a heartbeat.
Yeah,
That was because I think it was so even we were weird to talk about it at the
yeah.
table. It was like,
I know we were sat
oh,
there like. Baleba? Really? Like,
yeah, because we couldn't really understand. It was like, but then we do have money. I think that remember us getting on that journey of okay, this player costs this much. How? That
Yeah.
was always there was that time when it was that was the first question is okay then how because we're broke, and then we understood the level of broke we are because I'm still gonna put it out there we're really destitute, we're so broke.
We're
I mean
struggling. We
we're
need that extra
struggling.
money for Garnacho. We need Hoyland to
We
score. We need
need.
all that
I
money.
mean we again. I don't even know how we're gonna turn the lights on when the players go back to Carrington.
Mm.
So that's how bad it is. So
It's a good thing
again,
it's
if
got
they
a lot of windows and the renovations because the
this is it
electricity might
because
not work.
yeah, we can only train in a day because that's that's how crazy it is. Like no,
Yeah.
on a serious note, like you talk this Baleba thing and you think Man United, the way the quote that we kind of heard is this player is perfect for Amram's system,
Yeah.
and they see him as. So then you ask yourself, well, why would Man United, if they know that and they know Brighton's history in the market, they've had to weigh everything up and already understand how much you. I don't think they're surprised by the price, are they?
No. Well, you'd have to think, right, exactly that. It's what, 10 days ago. We know they're already interested. He's the right guy. For
Yeah,
10 days later, when we're finishing Sheshko, we've already agreed to basically pay 85 million euros for a player. We've already done that. For
yeah,
after that, to approach them, to talk to his camp, to go via intermediaries, to work on what this deal will take. It feels like they're intending to do it, right? Like, why go through all of that now if you're not planning to follow through?
absolutely. And then it's the run up. The
Yeah.
run up is everything to me. You talk about other teams involved in this market, and Man United, you can say, well, this could be some of the smartest boxing we've ever seen in the market because Liverpool, they have an outlay for Isak.
Mm-hmm.
That's where their mind's at. He's agitated so much. It will almost be mean if Liverpool don't follow through.
Yeah.
And I can't even say bring him home because that's not his home, but bring him to that club. You
Yeah,
know,
to get it
you
over the
look at
line then. Yeah.
you look at Chelsea. Chelsea have Caicedo, they have Lavia. They in that midfield, it's pretty much packed, and they're trying. I think they're trying to add a different type of player. Obviously, they're looking at Javi Simmons, Garnacho. So they're near the end of their. They're really near the end of their business. I would say, kind of putting a little icing on the cake in their situation. Arsenal, Norgard. I honestly don't know what Arsenal are doing. No disrespect to them, but that's it. Gyökeres, Norgard. Apparently, they talk about Eze. I don't know how far that is down the line. But
Yeah.
then, so when you look at all the clubs, Tottenham are a club that you probably look at and say, hey, but then Tottenham don't need that. They just brought in Paulinho on loan. Not saying he's anything like him, but Tottenham need more attacking players, obviously, with Madison getting injured. So then you're looking at all the teams. I've gone through the top teams, and they don't need that. We do.
Yeah.
You know, so we have a nice run, and this is why I don't believe it's for next summer because you don't want to alert all these other teams to this great player. If it was for next summer, we wouldn't say nothing. We'll just try to sign him next summer. We're talking now, and there's enough time in the window, I believe, to complete a deal like this.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, a few things on that, right? One is that, as I've heard it, the concern with next summer as well is you've got AFCON in January, you've got the
Mm-hmm.
World Cup in summer. Next summer
Oh,
is going to be terrible for doing transfers. It's going
sure.
to be one of the worst summers possible, not only because prices inflate, but because your window for signing players is so small and so
Yeah,
complicated in with everything that goes on, as well as like the preseason timings, it's a we know we've seen before World Cup summers,
yeah.
terrible windows. We have bad windows and that's just what it is. And I think that especially when you add AFCON in too, it's like anybody who shows up well in these international things is going to get big lights
Add
on
more
them
to
on
the
the
price.
stage.
Add
Yeah,
more to the price.
exactly. So that makes it really difficult. And it's like next summer is probably the time. And you kind of look at how we're moving in the market and you get this idea. Maybe they're looking at next summer. We just have to sign one or two players. Let's just do the business today. Next summer, Casemiro will go. Next summer, even if we can't sell Sancho, his contract ends next summer, so his
Thank
off the
God.
books.
Thank God.
Casimir's off the books. Maguire, maybe he's going to stay now, but he might get a new contract, and his purchase will probably be fully off the books. His wages would be lowered. You've got other players who will certainly depart by next summer. So it's like, if we have the ability, maybe we just spend it now, make next summer easy. We just need a center back. We just need a couple of things to round the
Yeah.
team out. Let's do it today, get back into Champions League, and the money will figure itself out after that.
Yeah, because we can't afford another season without European football.
Yeah.
That's the major thing that we actually have to really focus on. When you look at Man United, no European revenue is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And another thing that we have a string to our bow is when you're actually selling the Amarin project, you can tell players, listen, last season had nothing really to do with Amarin. You can say that just purely on the basis of he came in, it was a struggling team, and it wasn't his team. With you part of the plan, he gets to build exactly what and so Amarin almost has a fresh look in front of these players that they're speaking to about the project. If we have a struggling season, we're not gonna be in the strongest position to bring in a Baleba. Let's say if we have another season when we finish, I don't know, 7th this time, 7th, 6th. That's a harder thing to sell because it's not new anymore. You can now take Amram as a 6th place or worst manager, and then I'm not buying into that project, especially with the likes of, we've seen it this season with Arsenal. Gyökeres, we wanted him. Arsenal was more a favourable destination to the player.
Yep.
So this is why I feel like there's no mistake in Man United saying, hey, picking this moment in time, we want this player, sounding out what's going on with intermediaries. They know the price. They're not stupid. Vivell and them guys, they're not silly. And this is literally the beginning of some pressure. I don't think he can force a way out of Brighton, though. They've been here, done this before. They've all the players that they have sold, they've got what they've needed for them. So I can't see this being a difference.
No, he's going to be expensive. He's going to be expensive. There's no doubt about that. Like there's no way around the fact that United are going to have to pay somewhere around 100 million. We just know it. That's just what it takes to get players out of Brighton.
You don't think like you do? I was hoping like 80 something.
Well, I'm thinking with it, and I'm thinking they have to predict it's going to be somewhere close to that number, at least as a starting point for negotiations from Brighton's side. Now, I think a few things, like you say, he can't force his way out, but a few realities are he's going to be on low wages. If he doesn't get his move, they're going to have to give him a big bump up in wages. So there's some negotiating power there where he can say, look, this is a dream move. Man United, we've been, he's got his Cameroonian teammates are, working him at United now. If Onana pulls off, by the way, if Onana pulls off helping get Mbumo and Baleba in the door,
I have to support him.
You have to support him.
Honestly, and you were there when I was having that conversation with Onana's family members, and I took the picture.
Yeah.
And they wanted respect. If Onana does H&O, in this one here, what could I say? Now it's a team. He's
helping the club, right?
Helping the club more than like he's better in the office than he is in goal, but then he's doing a great job in the office. And then after you now do say to yourself, well, Onana, you have all of those players. Keep the ball out of the net, please. And we can give you another go. I'll be open to saying, okay, Onana gets another try. Are you with me? I would be open to that if we can if he can help us bring in this player. Because there must be conversations going on as we speak right now. And it's not, don't you think that line that they did when Bruno speaks about them wanting some extra players, and they've been really honest in the players that we wanted to sign. They said 2 more after the striker. Well, after Remo, they said 2 more, maybe 3.
Yep.
And by the looks of it, it is you're going with Sesko, which was the surprise. After
Yep.
Sesko, now we're talking Baleba. And if it's not Baleba, you believe it'll probably. Do you reckon that is the Edison still there?
It's a good question, because yeah, the number six, it was a striker, six goalkeeper, like the three things, and it turned to like goalkeepers less likely. We've got too many goalkeepers. If we can't, they tried Emi Martinez on loan. They clearly don't want to spend money there. Even if they
Yeah,
have money, they clearly don't want to spend a lot on a goalkeeper right now. They could
yeah.
still turn to someone, Lamans. You could still have Bayindi or go and do something like that. That's still possible. If they don't get Baleba, I'm starting to think they won't get anybody in that position. And the only reason I say that is if you've decided he's the perfect guy, even though it'd be better to get ahead of it this summer, you probably just go again next summer, because why not? Like, why wouldn't he be the perfect guy next summer when Casemiro leaves?
That's why I believe we're going to get him now.
Yeah. That's,
I believe we're
that's,
getting for him now.
yeah.
You can't, it's too risky. You wouldn't, why alert the whole of the league? It's like, remember when the league didn't know Morgan Gibbs White was really available that way?
Yeah.
And there was like, wait, what? Because
Yeah.
it was a deal that surprised everyone and even Nottingham Forest. And they made sure there's like, listen, they were too surprised and they said it's never happening.
Yeah.
But they closed the doors really quickly.
Yeah.
Man United alerting the rest of the league to Baleba and Brighton's willingness. They have a number.
Mm-hmm.
Any club can plan for, well, we'll outlay and spend that next season on
Yep.
that great talent. Absolutely. So I don't think you can, it's almost like letting off a firework, but pretending you're not there. You've got everyone's attention. And it's the style of it. That's honestly why I believe like it could happen. And there's them talks of the Rasmus one is something that I feel we need to, because it's the how. Anthony, I haven't heard anything with Anthony at the moment. Garnacho, finally you're hearing something today. But there is this Rasmus thing, and I would like to know what Rasmus is thinking in regards to,
Yeah.
does he play? Where does he play? Or how much minutes does he get next season?
Yeah, well, I think that conversation, that one that, has been needing to happen now, will happen with Rasmus to say, look, it's time to go. You're not going to be in the plans. You're not going to be the guy. We want to have minutes for Cheeto. We want to have minutes to play Xerxes. We've got Cunha. We've got options of people who can play up front. It'd
Yeah.
be better if you build your career away from Manchester United, because that conversation wasn't going to happen until they were sure they have a striker in. Now Sesko looks like it's on the
Oh, you
cusp.
think that's what that conversation's about? Well, that will raise the money. But then it's crazy because Man United have only spent this window how much? If you take the Cunha money off it now.
Yeah, I mean they've only spent after Sheshko, it's still it's like 135 million pounds, between Sheshko and Mbeumo.
Could we do this deal without selling players?
The thing is, it feels like yes, and I'll tell you why too. Like even from a
Yeah,
cash perspective, they wanted Dilap and Cunha at the start of the window. Cunha was always the 20 million in cash, 3 installments, release clause, flat
yeah.
fee, right? Dilap was 30 million in cash up front. So they had 50 million in cash ready. So you take they had 30 after Cunha. Well, if you look at Mbeumo and Shesko, it's believed that they got favorable payment terms. When I spoke to somebody at the start of the tour after Mbeumo was done,
Mm-hmm.
they said they set aside more money for Delap than they spent on Mbeumo. When I spoke to somebody, that means they got favorable payment terms. So if they got that 65 million over 4 years, then they only paid 15 million in cash. So they would have another 15 to pay for Shesko, which might be again over 4 or 5 years, 15 to 20 million in cash. Then they've already saved 15 million this year in cash
Mm,
on Marcus Rashford's wages going on loan.
yeah.
So to be honest, they probably have the money to do a deal if it's structured well. And I think that's where it comes down to. I think when I say that 100 million number, I think they pay 100 million over a full 5-year payment plan. Give the
Yeah.
big number on payment terms. I think that makes it more palatable to Brighton to give a big number, but for United, it's a number they can afford on these yearly installments, and that was what can make a deal happen here.
I'm gonna say, so if we was to rank it out of, if we think it could happen, where's your out of 10? Where are you gonna go?
I'm scared, KG. I want to have so much hope. I want to say like a 7, but I'm nervous, so I'm gonna scale it back and say that I'm giving it. I don't want to sit on the fence, so I'll go 6 because I don't want to sit at a 5. I don't want to be on the fence.
Yeah, I'm gonna go reckless. Mm.
Give it to us,
'Cause I'm
KG.
between
Let's go.
7 and 8. I'm between 7 and 8.
Yeah.
I'm getting 8.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think
8. Wow.
it's high. That's high. That's
I
very
know.
high.
If we get him,
Yeah,
where do we
yeah.
finish in the league after Sesko? If we get him, and that's the window, where do we finish in the league?
Well, I like to use only one word, and that's Andy Tate. You know, it's definitely giving Andy Tate for sure. And if you
Yeah.
don't know that video, he says it straight to camera, talks about the title, and then he just and then there's a look in his eyes that he means it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And not one game a week, you say that you're why not? But then we don't have to. Basically, everything else has to come together. On
Yeah.
paper, it sounds great,
Yeah.
but everything has
The
to come
chemistry is
together.
probably not there. I think that's the biggest issue. The chemistry is not going to be there because there's too many new players. I think
Yeah.
second half of the season will be really good, but we'll be too far behind to actually. Honestly, I think we'll be too far behind to actually maintain any kind of title challenge. But
Yeah,
I see we'll be
top
solid in
four,
the top 4.
top
Solid in
four.
the top 4.
Top
Yeah.
four, definitely. You'll say definitely. You'll say that's for sure because now you have actual competition and you have like backup in so many different areas.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that if it's not working for Imbuemo, Mount, Xerxes, if it's not working for if the Sesko, because I imagine Rasmus is still going to be here. If it's Rasmus ain't scored, you throw on. So if Sesko ain't scored, you throw on Rasmus. Again, in the back line, you have the Mazraoui. You have these are players to come in, Maguire or Delit. You know, there's all of a sudden there starts to be options
Yeah.
that you haven't seen at Man United for a really long time. You know, and I'm hoping in Amarim that he can figure it out with these players because there's some. All of a sudden, there's no more excuses.
Yeah.
There's no excuses, you know. Bringing Kobe on to not just rescue a game, but to slow down the tempo, make it to give us more possession, more football. You can do that. So yeah, I'm incredibly hopeful on what could happen with this team. We just have to see.
Well, let's see it, and let's end it there, and let's see what happens over the next few days with this Baleba. Thanks for coming on again.
Absolutely.
Always,
Pleasure.
and make sure I'm gonna go over to KG. We're gonna do a video whether
We're gonna
today
do a
or
video, but it's not today. But we're
yeah,
gonna do a video, I think tomorrow or something. So you lot watch out for our video,
yes,
because you've been crying about our new striker, and I think you know me, I'm one to collect the tears,
yes.
and
It's in the book of accountability. I've gotta pay my dues now on Benjamin Sesko.
absolutely,
So we'll check
yeah,
that out.
wicked.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to KG. I'll put his link in below, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn your notifications on. We'll see you next time.